Buddha.
RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Hey, guys. I can't believe I hit the wrong button. I had a new VO open, and I hit the wrong one. All right. Who cares? You know, I took out the RDT Daily thing. Finally. Right? All right. My friends. Nice to see you. This is our Friday night gathering. How's it going? Thank you, Jim. I see Jim in the chat room doing double shifts today. We had a anti-fascist book club earlier in the day, and Jim was a moderator and kept us safe as always. So thank you for kicking out the trolls. And yeah, Boudica is acting crazy. I don't know. I think she might have, the zoomies that they get before they do something in the litter box that I would rather her not do right now, because I just started the show and that would suck. So, all right, let's see what else. Tara Jr.'s in the bedroom because he's acting crazy. I wanted us to be a little, concentrate on what we're doing today. It is what it is. This is the liberal media. You get cats running around, and because we don't have big billionaire benefactors. I guess if I went to a studio, there would be no cats. Not that I would recommend it. We should have cats in the studio, I think. Let's see, just checking everything. How's it sounding? Is it okay? I feel like I'm low in my headphones. Oh, I hit a sound effect. So, all right, where do we even begin? Well, let's just begin by saying thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. As always, thank you, Charlie, for keeping the show going and growing, being a good friend, being a good compatriot here at the barricades, helping the community cats. So if you guys, you working from home or not, like I do, I work from home. You put on APS radio and just have APS radio on all day as the background to your day. If you want to take a break, it's classic rock and oldies, and then there's another classical music station, and yeah, that's it. Charlie's, just know that you're supporting a good person. All right, what else? And who also supports the community cats, which is, I'm telling you, it's very cold out there, and I'm very concerned. Tomorrow I'll do the rounds, trying to, we'll give the cats some more bedding, hay, straw. You put the straw in their shelters, and making sure their shelters are good, because they're going to need them the next few days. I hate that. All right, one day at a time. That's not why you're here to talk about that, but we're talking about the madness, really, in this country. I don't know, how are you guys holding up, really? Personally, I'm embarrassed to be an American, and it's a little frustrating because I think, just doing what I do, I get contacted by right-wingers. I encounter them, and I have no problem with them as long as they behave. But they just don't know how to behave, and it really is a cult. Frankly, it really is, because there's nothing the baboon can't do, and there is nothing that their eyes, like they just can't grasp the reality of. I mean, they just. What am I trying to say? It's just all of the lies that come out of the the maladministration, they buy it. They go for it. I came across some right-wing channel, and it was interesting because I wanted to see how they were perceiving the Jack Smith testimony. And if you watched that testimony yesterday, I watched the whole thing. I watched all 5 hours of Jack Smith's testimony. And it's unbearable because when you get to the Republicans, it's like they experienced an entirely different event. And we all saw it. And a few of the Democrats called them out. Like Eric Swalwell told them, I hear what you say about Trump. You call him a scumbag. I hear you. But as soon as the camera goes on, you go into performance mode. And that's where we live. And shame on them, though. Shame on them, because there are maggots who believe it. And I came across this right-wing channel, and they were dissecting the hearing, and it was just fascinating to me. The headlines on the YouTube clips that they had: Jack Smith panics when confronted with this MAGA, what was it? It was MAGA, up-and-coming MAGA star tells the truth to Jack Smith, who panics. Did anybody see Jack Smith panic yesterday? So there you go. That's where we're living. It's incredible. And it's denial. I don't know. I have to say, denial, of course, there's a lot of people try to dissect Traitor Trump and the maggots. It's a cult. It definitely is. It's on the lines of Jim Jones. There's no doubt. When Hitler died, a lot of his true believers took their lives in Nazi Germany after, they were clearly losing the war. But as soon as the message came out, as soon as the announcement came out that Hitler had unalived himself, many Germans followed suit. So, I can't, I'm not saying, I don't know. We have to, one day at a time, we'll see what happens when that great getting up morning gets here. But I do think that a lot of maggots are they might not want to, they might want to accompany their dear leader into the great beyond. Well, I know the elevator he's on is going straight down, as we know. He's talking a lot about heaven in the Oval Office. He's pondering, because he's a mortal person. That's the one redeeming quality that he has, frankly, that one day this too shall pass. But I'm not telling maggots to do that, but it is fascinating how we could watch the same thing, and we saw what happened on January 6th. And okay, I want to play this video. Let me see. If you watch during the break, Michael Fanone and a traitor got into it, had some words. Michael Fanone, it was this Ivan Raikin person who is a traitor to this country. He's a big election denier. He's a real dirtbag, and he also believes in authoritarianism. Now, these maggots, as I've said for years, in every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism, and for years they've had to give lip service to democracy, and I've said it for years. I'm sorry. Why am I repeating myself? But hey, I'm just telling you, I've been right, and it sucks to be right, literally and figuratively. But I've said it for years that they just give lip service to democracy. They don't believe it. As soon as I started becoming politically aware, if you really take just take a look at them, an objective look at what you're dealing with, then it doesn't take a great political mind, I suppose, to see the truth about them, because look at their policies. Know them by their fruits. Know them by their actions, not their words. And they just don't like the system the founders gave us as our system of government, born in the liberal age of enlightenment. They hate that system. They really do. And they want the system where the rich run and rule and everyone else awaits their rewards in heaven. But excuse me, I didn't mean to sneeze like that. This dirtbag, Ivan Rakin, he was attending the hearing. Now he does see, and he attended these hearings. They get these prime seats in the committee hearings on invitation only. They're not there. These are people like right in the front row, just like the Capitol police officers were there on invitation of the Democrats. Hold on a second. Here comes the music. I'll be right back. I don't know if we're going to get raided tonight. Are we getting raided? I don't know. I didn't talk to Andrea. Are we getting raided? Is there a raid happening as I'm speaking? Thank you. A Benny Rex says, bless you. Thank you. Where is it? Hold on. I know. It is what it is. When I have to drive this thing. A lot of times there's a lot of buttons I gotta push. And it's part of the charm of the show, I hope. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let me rewind a little bit. This fucking pig. Did you hear? Oh, wait. Can you say it? Wait. Oh, see, he reached out to Michael Fanone. This bald fucking fascist. Not that there's anything wrong with being bald. It's just an observation. He's a fascist, though. I'm not calling him anything he doesn't call himself. So they're standing there. He's like, hey, Michael. And then Michael Fanone turns, and I guess at first he was like, hey. Then he realized who he was dealing with. Oh, look at that. I think he was saying hey to somebody else. And then he's like, go fuck yourself. And good. Because this guy is part of the reason that Michael Fanone is under constant threat from these maggots. They've turned Michael Fanone into an enemy, which really upsets me, I have to say. It really upsets me because he was on the front line on January 6th, saving the Republican asses from destruction from their own base. People like Jim Jordan, who's the leader of this meeting, and that's a disgrace in itself because he was part of the plot. And we know he's still in defiance of a subpoena. He never showed up. When the January 6th committee wanted to interview him, he never showed up. These same maggots that whine and bitch and cry about Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton defying their subpoenas. Well, bitch. Let's see the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. What are you hiding? We know what you're hiding. You're hiding the fact that your standard bearer is a pedo. On top of everything else that he is. Everything abhorrent that he is. So, okay, let's continue with this. I just want to shake your hand. Why do you have to lose your cool? I'll try to... It's hard to hear because they were in a break. Why do you have to lose your cool like that? He's just triggering him. He's just trying to get a rise out of him. These maggots, because they have no decency. And because of this prick, Michael Fanone's children live in fear. In fact, they were under death threats and threats of being physically and sexually assaulted. That's how sick these maggots are. You see, because they're not on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. They have nothing but violence. That's all they do. That's all they can do. That's all they do when they come to this show, as Jim knows, and as Susie knows, right? Who they come and they just take a dump, just like they took a dump on Nancy Pelosi's desk, and they took a dump in the Capitol, and they smeared their feces on the walls of the citadel of democracy. And now and that's one of the things during the January 6th, during the testimony yesterday, Jack Smith's testimony, they kept saying, oh, it was a decisive victory. The American people saw right through it. And I have to say, it was not a decisive victory, of course. Maggots are liars, we know that. But he did win, won by a squeaker, 1.6% of the vote. I know that they like to say he won the popular vote. He didn't win the popular vote. More people voted against the baboon than voted for him. Let's never forget that. I know that because maggots like to repeat lies, and then it becomes just part of the regular, collective memory. Really. They just repeat. They understand that about human nature because they're devious. So while we're trying to come up with ways to make the world safe for democracy, or to make our communities safe for democracy, we're coming up with ways to ensure that people don't have to needlessly die without health care. They're coming up with ways to turn the country against each other and advance their kiss up, kick down agenda. So they're good at lying. They're good at distracting. So they get, that's what they are. They get good at it because that's all they have. They have nothing to boast about in reality. What are they going to talk about? What policies are they going to talk about? Who are they going to... I know they like to make Reagan, that's their great saint, their great hero. But what policies? Right? Where? What are you going to... Who are you going to quote? Nixon? Why don't you quote Trump? Right, I grab her by the pussy. Fucking bunch of... Oh, my God. When will this end? Where is Jack Smith? This is during a break, Grumpy on the chat. So this is the break. And, all right, let's continue. And Michael Fanone runs into this maggot fascist dirtbag traitor who tries to annoy him because, just by his presence, he's annoying. And he's, hey, let me shake your hand. Go fuck yourself, really. I would have reacted the same way. This is somebody that has harassed Michael Fanone. And think about, this is what is so infuriating, that what a betrayal. I feel betrayed. I don't know about you, but I seriously feel betrayed by people who voted for Trump. I feel like you're my enemy. If you voted for Trump, it says so much about you, unless you're atoning for it. But if you voted for Trump, you immediately, if I meet somebody and find out they voted for Trump or something, sometimes you could tell right off the bat just by their mere ignorance. They're stupid, they're racist. You could just make that educated guess. But if I find out somebody voted for Trump, they immediately go down in my eyes. They drop a few pegs, to say the least. And I have to wonder what's wrong with them. And I did a whole thing at the Political Voices Substack. So subscribe to my Substack, please. Where the where is this? Where the only question we should ask Trump voters is, don't you have any decency? Or do you have any decency? Do you have any shame? That's it. Not, how you doing? Are you happy with your vote? If you're happy with your vote, you're sick. There's something wrong with you. You're a fascist. You're a racist. You hate America. You lack the maturity required to function in a free democratic society. So, okay. Hold on. Wow. Time is flying here. Right? I mean, if you voted for Trump, there's only a few reasons. Stop normalizing it. Mainstream media. There's only one. I mean, because I'm telling you right now, mark my words. In the future, not in the not too distant future, they will all backtrack from it. Those who spoke, those who cheered Trump will speak of it in shamed whispers. That's going to happen. It will happen. It's not as fast as I would like, but all during the hearing, they were like, the Republicans were like, oh, the American people, they didn't believe the scams. What scams? One of the things they kept saying was, oh, Trump believed he lost the election. He believed it. Either that, he's the greatest actor. He believed it? He didn't believe it. He believes what he wants to believe. It doesn't matter. Just like he said to the Secretary of State of Georgia, just tell people you've recalculated. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a liar, like him. Just like he said to Zelensky, just announce the investigation of Joe Biden. You don't have to actually do it. Who the fuck votes? I mean, sometimes when we're talking about him, and we're talking about these monsters, these maggots who enable him, it just hits me every now and then. Like, who votes for this? How much do you hate your country? How much do you hate other people? How much do you hate yourself, your family, your children, your neighbors, everybody? I mean, they're just so filled with hate. That's why they love fascists. They love to drink our tears. They hate this country because, as written, as promised, the country is decent. You know, and the more we try to live up to the decency, they can't handle it. They got to go take a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Who fucking does that? And then, what rational human pulls the lever for it in a voting booth? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Why? Shame on them. Eternal shame on them. And they should all be ashamed. And if you're not ashamed, then there's something wrong with you. This is the point we're at. You hate America, and that's it. I don't give a shit what the mainstream media tells you. I know they like to enable you and coddle you like the little baby bitches that you are, but you are sick. You should be ashamed. I'm telling you right now. That's why the whole world hates maggots. The whole world. They have so destroyed the American view, the American, America's, what am I trying to say? Reputation. How are we going to get this back? I get it. How will we get it back? Because how could they trust us? They will never trust us again. And that's why Putin is the real winner of the 2024 election. When you voted for Traitor Trump, you voted for America's enemies. Foreign and domestic. So, yeah. God, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Every single time I communicate with you, I am always professional. Oh, so he's saying to Michael Fanone, every single time I communicate with you, I'm always professional. Because he's trying to get a rise out of him. And look at me, I'm professional. What do you say? You have Tourette's syndrome. You have to be contained. Your Tourette's syndrome. Because he's cursing at him. You're a disgusting traitor who led a mob into the Capitol to defecate and urinate in the halls and beat cops, and you continue with your filthy lies, your poison in the body politic, but you're professional. And it's Michael Fanone, who stood up for, God and country and the mom and apple pie, saving this country from the filthy fascists that so many actual patriots fought, bled, and died to prevent in the 20th century from taking hold. And here we go, right? I'm professional, he says. I love that. I don't know if you can hear. He says, you're a traitor to this fucking country. You threaten my family. You threaten my life. You're a traitor to this fucking country. Amen. That's all the respect these maggots deserve. That's it. And he's like, I'm acting professional. And, one of the things that was frustrating about Jack Smith, and I could take both sides of this, but that he, he's just like the rest of us, of normal people. When we deal with the maggots, they don't ever seem to, have any passion in a way. I would have loved to see Jack Smith tear into these traitors. And he just didn't. But people are like, well, that's just who he is. He rises above it. But this is what we've had to endure. That's why the maggots are in control, I believe. Because there's a lot of very sick people in this country that confuse strength with being a loudmouth. And you can't leave anything unsaid, I believe, at this point. You have to stand up with the courage of your convictions. And you can't just let shit lay in the floor like a maggot's turd on Nancy Pelosi's desk. You have to name it and shame it. But I guess, I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. It's like the Merrick the Meek syndrome. I don't think the American people, the American people are confused. Half of the country is consuming Fox News propaganda that makes its viewers less informed than people who watch no news at all, right? And then, I don't know, the other half is listening to corporate media, but you can't, and the corporate media never calls it out either. What the hell was I watching the other day? Actually, I was watching Ari, is that Melber? Yeah, the guy who always, The Beat. Yes, The Beat with Ari Melber. I should have grabbed this clip. He had this Republican on, the guy with the handlebar mustache. He was in Traitor Trump's first maladministration, and he said something that really fucking annoyed me. He said that he said that in his opinion, someone who knows Trump has dementia, and you could see it. He's diminished, he's confused, and his behavior speaks volumes to that. And he said, just as, and he compared it. He goes, just like when Biden was turning around and shaking hands with the air, all right, and speaking to people who weren't there. And his aides were concerned about that. So I was like, he just slipped that into the conversation. He goes, we should all be concerned about Traitor Trump. And of course, the Republicans aren't saying shit about it. But the fact is, that never happened. With Biden. Okay. So, because I looked this up, I was like, that sounds like a Republican conspiracy theory. And I'm like, Biden shaking hands with the heir? So I looked it up. Did Biden shake hands? Let's look it up, actually. Again, did Biden shake hands? And it had all the hallmarks of another Republican, lie that they all hold on to and they all latch onto and they all refer to. And because they're living in their own bubble, they're living in their own world with shit that doesn't exist, and things happen, and they make shit up, and then it becomes lore in the Maggotville, and it doesn't matter how many times you debunk it, how many times you say that didn't happen, they still repeat it. It's exhausting. It's a waste of air. So, did Biden shake hands with the heir? And he didn't. Hold on. Here's the music. This is Tara Devlin. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And follow my Substack. If you look at this, where is it? I don't know. You got to point the other way. Right there. Nope. So... follow my subs. Oh, yes. And before I forget, let me announce this in the not in the beginning, but close to the beginning of the show. We're going to have John Fugelsang on the show on Tuesday. So he's been confirmed. Yeah, that's going to be great. John Fugelsang on Tarabuster Tuesdays for the whole hour. We're going to talk about his book, of course, and spirituality, sort of like, I guess, when we had Hal on the show here, and we had a very interesting conversation about the nature of life, the meaning of life, the universe. Hal's incredible. Hal's got a brain. He's got a very big brain, I think, and he's like an encyclopedia of knowledge, really. So, and Fugelsang is right up there with I can't even believe it. He's coming on little old Tarabuster. All right, where is this? See, maybe one day I won't have to continue to say, please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Where the fuck is this? So as far as I was just looking, because I tweeted at Ari Melber about, about what we're talking about, that didn't happen. But there you go. This is what happens with the corporate media. You allow these maggots to just put their lies out there to just spread. He's supposed to be a good guy, right? He's supposed to be one of the good ones who speaks up against Traitor Trump. But Ari Melber allows him to spread another easily debunked lie. So what happened is, according to my research and everything, and reality, the Biden shaking hands with the heir clip is just another selectively edited piece of propaganda. Because that's all the Republicans have. He was gesturing towards the audience, according to PolitiFact and every other fact checker. And the video itself, you can see. He was gesturing towards the audience members who were off camera, and they cut the audience out. He's not trying to shake hands with an imaginary person. He's like this, as, I don't know if you can see my hand, right? You know what I'm talking about. He's just like, what? He's gesturing. And it's from this, 1922, 2022 event. And the wider angle footage apparently shows the audience there that he's gesturing to. And he's which makes the movement look like it's just him normal acknowledgement of the crowd. But you see how disingenuous and evil Republicans are? Fact checkers have thoroughly debunked this again and again, but there you go. There's Ari Melber's show with a Republican. He's supposed to be a normal one. He's supposed to be one of the good ones. But he repeats a thoroughly debunked lie, as if he saw this footage, too. He's like, when Biden shook hands with the heir at a political rally in North Carolina, at an A&T State University. See, they throw in those little details to give it the veneer of legitimacy. His aides were rightfully concerned, just like we should be rightfully concerned. That never happened. No one was concerned because he wasn't shaking hands with the heir, you filthy fascist. But there you go. Even on the so-called liberal media, we get the filthy lies. And somebody in the control room, and I believe Ari Melber, maybe he doesn't know that it's a lie. You don't just sit there and shake your head. Yeah, you're right. Somebody in the control room, one of the producers could have said in his ear, that's not true. That's not true. That never happened. Don't you have a responsibility when someone says something that's blatantly false on your air? Do you or do you not have a responsibility to correct it for the audience? Otherwise, they're going to think he's telling the truth, right, about a story. That must have happened. Oh, did you hear? Biden was so cuckoo at dementia that he shook hands with the heir. There was nobody there. Isn't that journalistic malpractice? No wonder we're very ignorant in this country. We're dumb. We allow this shit to take hold. I'm sick of it. And worse than that, we're sick from it, I believe. So now everyone's noticing. You see how many people are restraining you? He's going. And, okay, this goes on like this. People get up. Of course, the Jim Jordan and all the Republicans who, when the Democrats said, let's thank the Capitol Police, did the Republicans applaud and thank them? No, they didn't. How dare they? Right? How dare they? And I just can't imagine what it's like to be one of these Capitol Police officers having to protect the useless, worthless carcasses of the entire Republican caucus. When they're so disrespectful, they're so disgusting.
Will be in order.
Mr. Chairman, will you...
No shame.
Sir, it will be in order.
Treating these people that way.
This guy is threatening my family,
Members of the
threatening my
audience,
children.
members of the audience will please sit down or remove themselves from the committee room.
Rape my children, you sick bastard. Rape my children.
And all I can say is I want to get Michael Fanone on this show. I really admire him. I think he's a hero. I share his anger. And I share his feeling of betrayal, even though I wasn't on the steps of the Capitol on January 6th. But I would have been if that was my duty to be there, to protect democracy from these maggot mob monsters. And then what a betrayal for the country to thank you for your service. Blue Lives Matter, thank you for your service by voting in the insurrectionists. Voting in somebody that we heard him, during the campaign saying, oh, the hostages, releasing the national anthem, a video, a song, wherever the hell, with the J6 choir. What a disgrace to this country. They have shit not just on Nancy Pelosi's desk. They've shit on the Constitution. They've shit on our entire American experiment. They've shit on all of us, these filthy maggots. And what really infuriates me, too, is that, if you want to live in an authoritarian state, be my guest. Fuck off to North Korea. Fuck off to Putin's Russia. There's plenty of places you can go. You like Hungary? Go. You love Orban. We know that. That's the kind of country you want to live in. But you don't get to turn this country into an authoritarian shithole like the rest of them, like the ones that you admire so much, because the sting of the lash of conservative policies aren't supposed to fall on your shoulders, right? Because this is what we're dealing with. People who, whatever, they call themselves Christians, they call themselves patriots. They're nothing of the sort. Just like Traitor Trump isn't a president. He has the trappings of the office. Oh, yeah, just like Kash Patel. Another report came out about him. What a clown he is. How he was upset when he went to England because the security services there had a meeting with him, as if he's not a clown, right? As if he's a sincere public servant who sincerely wants to, protect and serve and all that. He was upset that they were having the meeting in the office. He thought they needed to go to like a football game or some castle, and he was worried about getting his girlfriend over there because he wanted her to go, to go to Windsor Castle with him. Dirtbags. I mean, that's it. It's like when you're not capable of doing the job, when you have no interest in doing the job, you fall back on the performance of it. They've seen TV. They've seen TV shows. Right? There's FBI. There's a lot of TV shows that have FBI agents in it. So you just pretend. You just act like a dick. You put on your windbreaker. You make sure it's got patches on, and you strut down the stairs. You make sure you have your camera. You get those selfies, because that's all that matters. Even the maggot that murdered Renee Good had to have his camera ready, right? As he murdered her. And that's another thing, as we learned. The fatal shot was the third shot. She was driving away from him. This mother effing maladministration. I share Michael Fanone's rage, frankly. I really do. You guys know. I try not to be, I don't know, I work on myself. I go to therapy. But yeah, I share the rage. And I think, I'm not a blind rage, that's for sure. I share the rage as I would expect anyone to. When I'm frankly confused when people aren't as enraged about the betrayal. That's how it feels to me. It feels like a personal betrayal. And it is. It's all personal. That's how stupid some people are too. Until, as we know, maggots are stupid. There's a plethora of excuses that of course, the corporate media gives them for voting for Trump and just treating them like a normal electorate is enabling them, in my opinion, enabling their delusion to think that voting for a con man, a rapist, a convicted felon, somebody who sent a mob to the Capitol to defecate and urinate in the halls, to beat cops, to stop the peaceful transfer of power, just a dirtbag, that that's a normal choice that anyone might make. And by asking them, how you doing? You know what I mean? Is really not doing them any justice. It's not giving them the opportunity to truly explain themselves, I believe. Because when you get right down to it, it isn't economic stressors. It's stupidity. Because if they really understood, then they would vote Democratic. If that was their concern, because the fact is, and the corporate media doesn't do them any favors by not informing them that when Democrats get in office, the American middle class expands, actually. That the Democrats are better for the economy, and we have the numbers to prove it. There's something called history, math, reality. And according to all those measures, when Democrats get in office, the economy for working people improves. Their lives get better. When Republicans are in control, people fall lower and lower and lower and lower on the ladder. And the country sucks. And we live in a shithole. And it only gets worse. So, riding around, I keep thinking about this CBS story I saw. I think we talked about it on the show, where this reporter was interviewing different Trump voters that were all losing their businesses and jobs. Like one guy, he's losing his job, another one's losing the business, and because of Traitor Trump's horrible economic policies. His tariffs that he shouldn't have the power to levy because the founders gave that power to Congress. But, of course, the traitors in the Congress, the Republican Congress, are too much of America-hating lickspittles to actually function as a co-equal branch of government. And the lady that was interviewing these maggots, she's just so kind and friendly to them. Oh, yeah. And none of them. This was a few months ago. I wonder how they feel now. But whatever. Don't go tell them. Because this is a regular pattern in the media, in the press, in the mainstream media. Let's check in on the Trumpanzees. It happens. It's a regular feature. They never check in with normal people, do they? Unless I miss it. I never see them. How you feeling? Normal people. They were always giving the maggots a platform. But I wonder, all of the people that they interviewed, this lady interviewed, none of them could completely admit that they were dupes, that they did the wrong thing. They still would proclaim their loyalty to Traitor Trump. Because why? And this is what I'm talking about. This is why we're in this boat. And another person who's coming on the show in a couple of weeks, she's going to be on, let me look at my calendar here. Actually, she's coming on at the beginning of February. What's her name? Beep, bop, boo, doop, boop. Do I have it? What's today? Her name is Tiffany Mueller. And she is I don't know if you call it CEO of End Citizens United. Oh, she's the president of End Citizens United. So I want to talk to her about that, because that's where we can trace, Citizens United is one of the major catastrophes that we're living under, where money is speech. And I guess because if you got a lot of money, then you just got, you speak really loud. And that's all that matters. And we're in big trouble, too. I want to go over I said this the other day, I want to go over this Oxfam report that just came out. about income disparity and upward immobility and how we're living in an oligarchy now. And we got it, and we have to end this. How much longer? I wonder all the time. How many times do I ask, how much longer are we going to take it? Living in an oligarchy. It's not, you're not free. We're not free. We are, we have our work cut out for us. And for anybody who voted for the, for the monsters, we should all be enraged. And no wonder Michael Fanone is enraged. And I appreciate it. I relate to it. When I see him, it feels like a betrayal. And that's why I take it personal, because politics is personal. It really is. And I can't stand people, and we all know friends, we have family members that are like, oh, I don't vote. I'm not, oh, they all suck. I'm not into politics, blah, blah, blah. But, well, just like Bertolt Brecht's famous quote, the worst illiterate is the political illiterate. How they boast that I don't have it in front of me. Let me see, Bertolt. I guess it's time for a reading of it. Brecht, the worst illiterate. Yeah. The worst illiterate is the political illiterate. He doesn't hear, doesn't speak, nor participate in the political events. He doesn't know the cost of life, the price of the bean, of the fish, of the flour, of the rent, of the shoes, and of the medicine all depend on political decisions. The political illiterate is so stupid that he is proud and swells his chest, saying that he hates politics. The imbecile doesn't know that from his political ignorance is born the prostitute, the abandoned child, and the worst thieves of all, the bad politician, corrupted and flunky of the national and multinational companies. And when I'm reading that, all I can think about is Ted Cruz, right? Cancun Cruz. Now he's Laguna Beach Cruz. We're getting ready for a pretty major snowstorm here in New York and all over the country, and in Texas too. Ted Cruz, as soon as he got wind it was going to be Arctic level freezing and snow, he's got his useless carcass on a plane and headed to Laguna Beach. And of course, he was snapped. Somebody took a picture of him and posted it. And his people said, oh, well, he had this trip planned. Well, how a happy accident, right? Unbelievable, though. Who votes for this dirtbag, right? Too bad Bertolt Brecht didn't continue the quote. The worst illiterate not only is the political illiterate, but it's somebody who's so dumb that they vote for the bad politician, corrupted and flunky of the national and multinational companies. I mean, what's worse? Frankly, Republicans should just stay home. But I mean, knowing that Ted Cruz is, if you're Ted Cruz and you know that you are, you're known for running out on your community in a crisis, especially one especially one created by Mother Nature. No, it doesn't matter. The crisis they run. But he took a lot of heat for going to Cancun the last time, leaving his poor dog, that poor thing, his poor little poodle, or what does he have, a Bichon Frise? Home alone to freeze. What a dirtbag. But wouldn't you, if you had a meeting or whatever your excuse is, knowing that there's going to be major weather, that might affect a lot of your constituents. It might negatively affect them. Knowing your history, wouldn't you at least try to reschedule your trip? Say, no, I can't leave my constituents. We're going to be experiencing a major winter storm, and I just can't do it. I have to be here in case they need me. But not Cancun cruise. And he'll be millions. He'll get more votes. This fucking guy wanted to be president, right? Jesus Christ. It's incredible. Let me see. Where's my people? All right. Well, since we were talking about it, let's talk about the Oxfam report, which is really concerning. But once again, I told you so, unfortunately. Money in politics is the root of this evil, and we're doomed if we don't get it back. It really is true. Aren't we sick of the rich? Anybody? I'm not saying, hey, we all want to be rich, but there's many I don't think there should be billionaires, of course. There's no reason. That in itself is immoral. And we as a species should do something about that. There is no reason that anybody should have $1 billion, much less $1 trillion. People can be rich, but this is getting ridiculous here, isn't it? So, inequality. Here, I'll put this up on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Isn't it fucking annoying? Hold on. And I'm sure if, when this is posted, if we end up with maggots in the chat room, they'll be making excuses. They'll be cheerleading the billionaires. They like to be ruled. That whole daddy's home shit. These are very sick people, maggots. When they're like, oh, daddy this, daddy. Jesse Waters on Fox News. In fact, I was watching some clips of him from the website Decoding Fox News, where he's really fucked up, and he's going on about daddy's home, and he wants something, he's angry, and daddy's like, he really is gay. It sounds gay to me. I don't know who talks about daddy more. I have as a lesbian, I have gay friends too, gay male friends. They daddy this, daddy. I don't know. Where's daddy? Here's some quotes. Where's daddy to tell these women to wise up? It's all these daddy. They need daddy. And that in itself goes to show you that Republicans hate self-governance. That's what it's about. We don't need a daddy. I'm sorry, Jesse. You may want daddy to spank you, but we got this. We're adults. We're emotionally intelligent adults, and we don't need daddy. It's all stems from the fact that these people, they're sick. Their fathers beat them and called them the F word for gay, and you know what I mean. And they're just sick. They never felt love. They need to get help, but they just don't have the courage to ask for help, to be vulnerable. They have this warped view of what it means to be a man, right? What strength is. They think, they think Traitor Trump is strong. They think that's strength. Wait, hold on. I gotta get this. Wrong button. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. Trying to get this stupid. Sorry, I'm hitting a lot of buttons. I'm trying to talk and hit buttons, so It's going off the rails. Let me just concentrate on this for a second. Let me see. Boom. I have to do this. It's too many things. All right. Put that on. There we go. Okay. Okay. How's everybody doing? Did you sign up for my Substack yet? That'll be nice. Thank you. And thank you all. If you've done that already, I want to thank you. Oh boy. Where are we? Who am I? And anyway, all right, hold on. Just getting my stuff together. Nice to see everybody. I don't think we got rated, but we do have a rather pretty good audience. I think the show is going and growing. Did we get rated? I think I missed it if we did. I don't think we got rated. But I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so Oxfam. It's pretty distressing. So a report from Oxfam argues that the U.S. is in what they're calling an inequality emergency. Now, have you heard this on the corporate media? I would think that this would be kind of breaking news or something that people could report, in between reporting how we have a serial bankrupt con man, convicted felon, piece of shit traitor who's just embarrassed us on the world stage, running us into the ground. But given the fact that, as Justice Louis Brandeis said, we must make our choice. We can either have democracy or concentrated wealth in the hands of a few, but we can't have both. And it's not just a quote or a saying, it's the truth. We need a functioning, economically vibrant, upwardly mobile, working class majority. We need, in order to be a functioning democratic republic, the middle class can't be on the balls of its ass. We can't have this inequality. The founders knew it. Earlier generations understood it. Teddy Roosevelt talked about it. FDR, of course, talked about it. Thomas Jefferson wrote about it. How do we stop concentrated wealth? I mean, I'm just paraphrasing, but in his letters he wrote, how do we prevent the moneyed elites, I'm trying to remember how he put it, but it was, I can't remember, but he said that we do it through progressive taxation. But it was a concern. They had just fought a revolution to create this incredible system that was an aberration in the world of human affairs, right? Most governments for thousands of years were an autocracy, some form of monarchy, some form of intergenerational aristocracy, right? And so this country, as fragile as it is and was, they understood where the forces of evil would come and try to undermine it and break it down and roll it back. And one of those forces didn't have to be from some kind of royal family. It would be because of wealth, of concentrated wealth. The rich would take over, would reach out, as FDR said, and control government itself. And a lot of, in the past, the American people understood this. They understood that concentrated wealth was a danger to democracy. And, what really irritated me during, these past 10 years and more, but listening to the corporate media poll our fellow Americans and say that that they're not concerned with democracy because, the Democrats, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, tried to make a case for democracy. And then they would say, well, it's not polling well. What polls better is economics, kitchen table issues. And what I wanted to pull my hair out, as Jim could tell you, because democracy is a kitchen table issue, for God's sakes. So try getting an upwardly mobile, economically vibrant, working class majority in an autocracy. Okay? You're not going to be able to do it. Try getting one, look, you think Putin's Russia has an economically vibrant and upwardly mobile working class? No. How about anywhere? Pick an autocracy. This is about economics. It's about freedom. It's about the future, your children having a better life than you did, leaving the world better than you found it. So that's what would drive me crazy. We're in such trouble here. It's so annoying. It's so damn annoying to be living in a fascist coup, isn't it? But yeah, what's really annoying is that you have these mouthpieces out there, these millionaires telling the work, just not putting the fucking, connecting the dots. And of course, something like this report comes out, and I was talking about this the last maladministration when Traitor Trump was squatting in the White House despite receiving fewer votes in the first maladministration. And it was for the first time. We talked about this with Poppy when she was on the show, when the middle class fell below 50% of the population for the first time, and in generations, actually. And it didn't make a peep on the corporate media. That is, I believe, that not only journalistic malpractice, but it says it all. It speaks volumes. Of course, I didn't expect them to talk about it on Fox News because Fox News exists to make people stupid enough to vote for their own demise, to misinform, to divide. That's what they're there for. To make excuses for the maladministration, to point fingers at the powerless and politically unconnected, for the sins of the powerful as they rob us blind and ride us to the bank like the parasites that they are. That's why Fox News exists. So I didn't expect them to mention it, but I had hope. I did have a little bit of hope, and there's only so much some of these shows can do. There are good, I think, shows on corporate media, like Rachel Maddow, I believe, I like her show. I like Chris Hayes, Nicole Wallace, I believe, and Lawrence O'Donnell is great. I love his opening monologue all the time that he does. He's great. But so there's only so much, that they could cover. And but something like this, the fact that the American people, the majority of Americans can't muster up $400 for an emergency, that's disgusting. And it shouldn't be tolerated. This is what we're dealing with. That's why they divide us. This is what annoys me so much about maggots. They should be on our side. We're fighting for them, too. They should be on our side. They should be voting Democratic. And they're not, of course. And the idiot that was fighting with Michael Fanone, he's your enemy, maggots, not me. Not Rachel Maddow, not others, the people that are trying to make a more perfect union. trying to make sure that you don't have to needlessly die, that you don't lose your job, that when you call the Social Security Administration, they pick up on the first ring. That's what we should demand. We should want to live in a country that leaves no one behind. We should want to be in the top 10 happiest countries on earth, right? Then the fact that we're not is, we should be just, we should be concerned about that and try to do something about that. Education, right? All positive measures. When you take out the red states, the United States goes, I think we were talking about this with Hal, especially with education. If you take out the red states, the United States goes up to number 4 in education. But when you put the red states in there, we plummet to like number 26. That says what we're dealing with. Republican policies. And this inequality in emergency, as Oxfam puts it, they're talking about the inequality emergency in the United States. It's created by deliberate policy choices. It's not an accident. The policy choices that favor a small, very small, uber wealthy oligarchy. It's just like FDR said when we were recovering from the first Republican Great Depression, thanks to Democratic policies, thanks to FDR's policies. And he said, how did he put it? He said, yes, we are on our way back, but not because of a market cycle or the mere, turn of a wheel, he said, talking about, because this is what the Republicans would say. Oh, it's just the ebb and flow of the market. He said, yes, we're on our way back, not because of a market cycle, but because we planned it that way. And you look at the policies, and then when you upset those policies, you undo those policies, and then you change those policies, you get a different result. You get upward immobility. How did we go from the most to the least upwardly mobile in 40 years? When I was born, the United States was the most upwardly mobile Western democracy in the world. And now we're the least. Because of policy. I was born on the wrong end of Reaganomics. It's a shame. My father, who was a beneficiary of the New Deal, he, all these boomer generation. My father wasn't a boomer. He was born in, when was he born? 32? So he was a little bit before a boomer. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. Do me a favor and hit that QR code and follow my Substack. We got to get those numbers up. Get them up, kids. Get them up. And become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you for supporting this show. All right. And, okay. So what was I saying? Yeah, when my father was born, he was born at the perfect time to be as far as being a beneficiary of the New Deal policies that Americans just took for granted. Especially my father, as a white man, and my father was a garbage man. He raised a family, bought a home, lived the decent middle class life. Because of the New Deal policies, because of the union policies, all of these policies that made that life possible. But into that comfort was inserted by Rupert Murdoch's poison pustule, Fox News, and Rush Limbaugh. My father was a Rush Limbaugh victim. listened to that disgusting Rush Limbaugh, and poisoned his mind, I believe. I mean, it was always, as my aunt tells me, and that my father was always like a bit more conservative. In fact, he was the only one of their entire family that voted for Nixon, unfortunately. And my uncles were all normal people. Then we would talk, but now they passed away, unfortunately. But yeah, we would talk about how my father was lost to stupidity because of Rush Limbaugh, really poisoning his mind, and that was racism. That's all it is. It was just racism. Him telling Rush Limbaugh telling people like my father that like people were taking advantage. That's what it was. Oh, welfare queen, that bullshit. He believed that shit. So anyway, Fox News and Rupert Murdoch is one of the most disgusting persons that have ever lived. He's done more harm on so many continents, just like Traitor Trump. All these people. If you're watching this, if you're from the future and you're watching this, oh God, I envy you. I hope it got better. I hope we won. I know we will win eventually, but I do hope that. We will win. What's really keeping, as MLK said, the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice. It's really true. And people know what's right. There is an inherent, innate sense of fairness in human people, and who aren't sick like Traitor Trump. He's not a human person. He's a human, he's a human parasite. So, yeah, that's a good way to put it. And they've done studies on infants and you could say with certainty that infants who have no ability to speak English, but they do have an innate sense of fairness, and they're not completely selfish too. They've done studies on infants where they would go in and give there'll be 3 infants, and they give 2 a very large portion of whatever it might be, toys or something else, and the other infants will share with the one that doesn't have the same. And it's not that they'll be like, unless that infant, I would imagine, is like Traitor Trump, and they get upset when they see unfairness. And these are children, infants that they can't express themselves in complex ways. All you could see is that they're upset about what they're seeing, and they try to make it right, which is encouraging, because that's how Mother Nature made us, right? To give a shit about each other, to care. Some of us, I'm sure you're the same. We don't want to live in a country and in a world that treats people like shit. When we saw the murder of Renee Good, that's just wrong. It shouldn't be tolerated. There should be justice, and justice isn't investigating her wife and her family, the rest of her family. What a disgrace! How they even put that forward is so disgusting. But okay, so the U.S. Let's go through the report a little. Let me look at the time. What time is it? Yeah, the U.S. is described in the report as being in the grips of an inequality emergency, not just, as we were saying, experiencing normal market ups and downs. This is an emergency created, as the report says, by deliberate regressive policy choices, which means it's a good news, really, ultimately, because it means that we can fix it, right? and the report says that these regressive policy choices have been rigged by an economic and political system that is for an ultra wealthy few. That's how it puts it. The policies have left, other than this ultra wealthy, why can't I talk? They have left, as it says, everyone else falling further behind, everyone else but this ultra wealthy few. And meaning that left behind in ways of being cut out of economic security and opportunity. It's called the title of the report is called Unequal: The Rise of a New American Oligarchy and the Change We Need. Because they lay out what needs to happen if we want to restore this country to sanity and democracy and freedom. Well, restore or finally claim. Oxfam, they explicitly use the term New American Oligarchy. And I don't know. Doesn't seem... We're talking about oligarchy, finally, as Bernie has been sounding the alarm for years. I don't think that many Americans think it's alarming, though, unfortunately. So the report says that the system was designed, not accidentally evolved, that it was designed by the lickspittles of the uber wealthy, and we know who we're talking about. Not just, it's Republicans, of course, primarily, but some Democrats, too, of course. It was designed to benefit the ultra-rich and make them richer. It promises, under the promises of a blueprint to create a more equal society. That's how sinister it is, and we see this. This is like the outline of every show, every Tarabuster. We're talking about this because this is why we're in this boat. This is why we have a baboon in office and a fascist cabal of Nazis trying to beat the people into submission. It's not happening. So they write that inequality is a political and policy problem, and it's not a natural or unavoidable outcome of capitalism, because capitalism has to be regulated. And when you have regulated capitalism, you can have happy societies like the Nordic countries that have capitalism, but it's highly regulated, and there's a strong social safety net that people expect, and that is what normal people call freedom. I guess here we got the freedom to die or go on GoFundMe or starve or beg on the side of the internet superhighway. So the report says that regressive policy choices like tax cuts for the rich, attacks on unions, deregulation, and treading public programs that help working people have gotten us to this point. And oh my God, that's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show, but there's no more show, so come on over to youtube.com/cfachannel/Tarabuster to check it out, and on the Substacks too. All right, we will win. We will win. I want to finish the report, so come on over and check it out. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for all you do to keep the show going and growing, and all your kindness to me and the little community cats. We stick together, we win. I'll see you soon. All right. Can't believe how fast it goes. Let me see. Where are you guys? How's it going? How's it going? All right. Let me see. Hold on. Where were we? Where was we's? Okay, so yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess if I wrote the article, I could just call it "I told you so." I don't know. Well, how long we've been screaming about this for so long. So okay, just some of the notes I took for this, to go through. So calling it an oligarchy in the article and in the report itself, Oxfam says that by calling it an oligarchy, they're signaling that the rich aren't just rich. Okay, it's more than that. They are writing the rules under which everyone else has to live. And all I can say is, fuck that shit. Okay? All of these maggots that are, the don't tread on me maggots are suddenly, oh, well, they want daddy, right? They need a daddy to fuck them over, to beat them and oppress them. Sick. They're sick. But they want that. They want the uber wealthy to write the rules under which everybody lives. So we can all fight over the scraps, because hate is a very motivating drug for these people. Really. So the Oxfam report, as I said, good news. They are pushing for systemic reforms. But before I get into the reforms, let me just point it out again, to put a fine point on it, that what did the report say was the cause of our problems, right? The policy choices. What policies? Tax cuts for the rich, attacks on unions, deregulation, and shredding public programs, right, that help working people. What policy? Now, which party does that? Which party is the instigator of those policies, right? That's the entire Republican platform right there. Tax cuts for the rich, attacking unions, deregulation. They talk about deregulation. They go out and boast about deregulation, which drives me up a wall, because deregulation does not equal prosperity. Regulations are written in blood. And this is why I thank you yet again for watching this show and supporting this show, because, the corporate media, I'm sorry. I know I talk about it a lot, but they're the problem. They will never, ever, it seems, when they say, well, deregulation, when the Republicans are like, yes, deregulation and tax cuts, they won't point out that, well, that's why the United States went from the most to the least upwardly mobile. And you know what? The deregulation is not synonymous with prosperity. In fact, we have the receipts to prove it. It doesn't, they talk about deregulation like it's some kind of magic bullet, right? Oh, it's more magic beans for the Republicans, because you got to believe in fantasies to fall for their shtick. After all these years, of course. Deregulation. Oh, burdensome we got rid of all these burdensome. I can't talk. I can't say that word. Burdensome regulations. Like Traitor Trump says, oh, he had a really good idea. And he even boasted about it, that for every regulation, if you want a new regulation, you have to take 10 away. Because that's fucking normal, right? That's how adults function. It's so babyish. It's so infantile. It's so ridiculous, like him. But, oh, okay, my lord. The Republicans go on. Yes, my lord. Yes, master. Yes, you filthy fascist, tax-cheating, draft-dodging, America-hating baboon. Yes, you convicted felon piece of shit. Oh, take 10 away. You fucking dirtbag. Stupid. But nobody, they don't. The corporate media doesn't point it out. I don't know why. So then we have Republicans, probably in our own family somewhere, thinking, well, got to get rid of these regulations. Deregulation's the best. It's the greatest thing since tax cuts for the rich. And, well, where's all that prosperity I've been promised from all this time of me begging to be trickled on? Jesus Christ, beg another 40 years. Maybe the trickle will get in your mouth, maggots. I know you want that. Oh, just begging the rich to trickle on them. Trickle all over me. They're so disgusting. So, let's see. Oxfam says that we have to call for a bold new agenda. But is it really bold? Right? This is what I'm talking about. Well, it's bold because we need people to talk about it, at least. How are you going to find out? No one's going to read this report. You think Fox News is going over the Oxfam report and having meetings, crisis meetings? What are we going to do? The American people must be informed about this terrible development that income disparity and upward immobility has taken hold. We live in an oligarchy, and it's because of policy choices that we've been promoting nonstop. You see, we're under attack. We are under attack, not by who? Not by immigrants, you fucking America haters. This is what we're under attack by the likes of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and their handmaidens like J.D. Vance. And we've been talking about it forever. What do? Well, you tax the rich. You tax these fuckers down to size, down to reasonableness. And if they don't like it, oh well. The French had a remedy. I'm not saying go there. My camera keeps moving. And so they are, the bold new agenda is, I think something, is my cat over here? No. Is what Oxfam is calling their policy agenda or whatever to reverse this extreme inequality. It's not just inequality anymore. They're adding the qualifier, extreme inequality. We're really gone beyond where I thought we were gonna go, and not in a good way, not in a Star Trek way. I've been saying this forever. And it's not charity. It's not small tweaks. They are talking about a blueprint to create a more equal society. You have to do it deliberately. You have to do it in a way that is unapologetic. Taxing the rich, taxing these fuckers down to size. Oh, well, you can live on maybe, I don't know, 250 million. Maybe that should be the cap. You think you can make it to lunch on that? Right? Not only that, it's not just the tax policies. We need political reforms that include getting money out of politics, getting the influence of these pricks out of politics. Because if we didn't have money in politics, we wouldn't be in this boat right now. That's the truth. So, and as Oxfam wrote in their report, incrementalism is not enough. It's over, people. If you're one of these Democrats that, I don't even know though. I've never met a Democrat that's like, I'm an incrementalist. Have you? Oh, except for I never met Hillary Clinton, but this is what we hear from them. I'm an incrementalist. Incremental? Who the fuck wants to vote for an incrementalist? Incremental? I mean, you might be pragmatic. That's what Hillary Clinton would say. I'm a pragmatic progressive. Because what? Why? Because we're talking about real kooky things like universal health care, college for everybody, just like we have high school for everybody, if you want it. And the rich can still go to their private schools, can't they? Right? But that's supposed to be, crazy talk, crazy town. Oh, God. When it's just common sense. If you want a functioning society. And it's also if you don't want to make the ultimate sacrifices of those who fought, bled, and died for the grand experiment to be in vain. So that's what we need to do. And we need structural reforms that finally deliver for regular people instead of oligarchy, instead of the people that have too much, that have more than they will ever need in a zillion lifetimes, while people are hungry, homeless, and can't go to a doctor. It's disgusting. None of us should accept it. They should be embarrassed. And the fact that they're not embarrassed says everything. Says that they must be taxed down to size. Oh, and there was that picture of Traitor Trump and Elon Musk and trophy wife number 3 having a dinner together recently. I thought Traitor Trump was in the Epstein files. Have a nice day, right? Elon Musk, see, they don't give a shit. He doesn't care that Trump raped children. He doesn't care. He puts his own kid in front of him. He would put anybody else's kid in front of him. I mean, these people are sick. They're sick people. Elon Musk should not have the money he has. He needs to be stripped of his ill-gotten gains, and he needs to be sent to The Hague to face justice. Finally, is there justice? But then, of course, I'll get messaged or comments on the channel from maggots. Elon Musk is great, or whatever they'll say. Some bullshit, some stupid. They're always cheerleaders for their own subjugation. You know, the don't tread on me's. What do they say? No poor guy ever got me a job or gave me a job. Well, bitch, you want to have a job that pays a living wage in decent working conditions and retires in security? I mean, no rich guy ever got rich without the rest of us. So, you know, you need to get your head screwed on. I know you want daddy to beat you, to take out his belt and beat you, but not everybody. Go get help, right? That's what it is. What? My cat is hungry? What do you mean? Tara cat is hungry? What cat? She's sleeping. She's sleeping. She's sleeping for real. All right. I'm trying to find this. I had other things on the list here. Where's my... We have 20 more minutes. Not that I'm not complaining. I'm just... Can't find my... I can't find something. Oh, yeah, this is what I want to talk about. Thank you, Errol on the chat. Greenland. I want to talk about that. I wrote an article at the Political Voices Substack, and about Greenland. Okay, we're talking about the corporate media, talking about the, how they don't do us any favors, really. And I wrote this article. This is another case in point here. We all witnessed what happened in Davos this week. The baboon embarrassing us on the national stage, on the international stage, right? Making a mockery of everyone, making a mockery of Earth. So I wrote this article. There's also a video. It's up on the Political Voices Substack. But I'm calling it the Greenland grift. Because that's all it is. When Traitor Trump got home, here's a video. Let's see if it'll play.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them.
You piece of shit.
And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also
You're a fucking
Greenland.
liar.
And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
Strong.
The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like
Because
we
you're a
have
bitch.
pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal.
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it.
No, it's
down the
not,
line.
bitch.
But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some
What's
other
this?
people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able
It's
to
a kind
do.
of a deal. It's too complex to fucking explain. I can't explain it because I don't know what the fuck it is. But it's like the Bible passages that are very dear to me. It's very personal. It's very private. So I can't explain it. Like nobody's ever seen. It's too complex. That's all you got to say. It's coming in 2 weeks. Too complex. Like nobody's ever seen. What the fuck is so complex that you can't explain? You just made this great deal. And it's just too much. I can't explain it. It's just so complex. Why? You put bases here. You can travel. You can patrol. You can move freely. You can fly. What's so fucking complex, And this is what I am so sick of it. Like I'm sick of everything else that they let these maggots get away with. Could you imagine if this was Joe Biden? Too complex. I can't tell you. Too complex. That's how you know the maggots are full of shit. And Fox News is a fascist propaganda outlet. This is not a deal that is complex. It's the same fucking deal we've had since 1951. But all over the media, I kept seeing this clip and reports. It came up on my phone. Trump announces a framework of the deal, a new Greenland deal. And I have to say the only outlet I saw that called it out was CNN. They said, this deal is pretty much like the same deal we've had since 1951. There's no deal here. It's the same fucking deal. And this is what he does. This is what the baboon does. Okay? And I'm so tired of it. And, the baboon's going to be the baboon. Right? A baboon will baboon. But what the hell is the excuse of the media to simply report the words that come out of the baboon's mouth without context? Put it in context. Give him the framing. Inform the people that this deal, what the fuck is this? Here we go again. Just put it like that. You can use those words. Just repeat after me. What is this shit? He's done it again, this baboon. And who votes for this shit? This is another way the mainstream media enables the magotry. You know what I mean? Because they They don't point it out. They don't make it ridiculous as it is. It's fucking ridiculous that he gets away with being a baboon that drags us through his manias and then gets to say, I announced the deal. It's a deal. It's too complex. Well, of course, the lickspittle interviewing him doesn't have the balls to say, what are you talking about? It's too complex. We're not all maggots here. We have very big brains, so we can understand what you're talking about. So what the fuck is the deal? Because from where I'm sitting, it's the same deal we've always had. Just like NAFTA, the Canadian agreement, he redid NAFTA. It's the greatest deal that ever happened. It's the same fucking deal. Everything is the same. This is what he does. And he's a grifter. It's like his everything else. It's like his multi-level marketing vitamin scam. He didn't come up with multi-level marketing scams. He just made his own multi-level marketing scam, right? And everything else that he does, he's not a clever person. He's not an innovator. He just does badly what everybody else does, and he's got no integrity. He's got no decency. So he just lies about it. And he knows he's a fraud. But unfortunately, there's so many cowards. Most people are cowards, I've come to learn during this time. They're just effing cowards. Who I don't understand how they look at themselves in the mirror without spitting up. Cowards, and it's the deal that already exists. It's called the 1951 U.S.-Denmark Defense Agreement on Greenland. As I wrote, under that pact, Denmark keeps full sovereignty. The United States gets broad rights to build, operate, expand military installations like Thule Air Force Base that already is there. We get to move ships and aircraft through Greenlandic waters, airspace, and maintain defense infrastructure. And then we can also coordinate with with the locals on different things, on defense areas, coordinate with, what am I talking about? With activities that affect local interests. So we have a fucking deal. And now it's like him putting his filthy fascist name on the Kennedy Center. See, it is really like that because he didn't have to destroy the Kennedy Center. I mean, he did because this is what Traitor Trump is. Whatever he touches, he destroys. So he went to Davos, he went to Switzerland, and he told people who've been speaking German since 1620 that without America, they'd be speaking German. So he went there and he wrecked our good name all around the globe yet again. He took a shit on stage. He whipped out his dick, I should say he just took it out because I don't know if how you can whip it out with a little mushroom, as Stormy said. And he destroyed our alliances. He made, caused chaos. He made everything suck. He wrecked our good name, I said, and we have the same deal that we've had since 1951, a deal that was crafted by adults, by diplomats, by people, by patriots, by actual patriots that do the work, the hard work of diplomacy that requires emotional intelligence and a love of country that Traitor Trump could ever muster because he's a fucking baboon, right? So, do you see how the corporate media has failed us so miserably? Really. It's unbelievable. And he did this for the low, low price of the whole world hating our guts. So what a great deal, Traitor Trump. You came back with less than we had. Because before you squatted in the White House and stained it with your filthy golden gilded doilies that look like shit, we actually had good relationships with people. And you know what would have been great if we, that 6 million Democrats who stayed home didn't stay home, and we had Kamala Harris, our first female president, we would have been so respected around the world. The whole world would have embraced us as they once did. And, but instead, the 1.6% of the vote, the maggots, the mainstream media, all of the evil that runs through the veins of our body politic, sickly and disgustingly, gave us this baboon, this maggot. You know what I mean? We were fine. We didn't need you to take a shit on our allies. We didn't need you to do that. Take a shit on the desk like your maggots took a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk. We didn't need you to do that. We didn't need you to wreck our alliances. I know you like to be Putin's bitch, but we want a democracy. We want our friends. We need our friends. Who doesn't need friends? I know Traitor Trump wishes he had a friend. He's never had a friend in the world. Well, he's his pal, except for a convicted pedophile who hates him, who hated him and said he was the worst person he ever met. That's your best friend. You don't have, I mean, he's such a fucking piece of shit, this guy. Who votes for a piece of shit? I'm sorry. It's hard to, it's not astute political commentary to say that, but it's the damn truth, isn't it? Oh, God. And then there was this article. Where the hell is it? That I came across. It so irritated me. I hope I didn't lose it. Where is it? Where's is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Oh my God. Oh my God. And this is what we're dealing with. The level of sycophancy is so vile. Niall Ferguson? I don't know. Some right-wing dirtbag writes that, what's this? The Free Press. I've never seen, he writes, how Trump won Davos. He won, you see, and the maggot mind. That's winning. Taking a shit on the world and pissing everybody off and looking like a dumbass and babbling like a baboon. He won. I've never before seen a single individual so completely dominate a vast bazaar of the powerful, the wealthy, the famous, and the self-important. See, because that was all Traitor Trump playing 5-dimensional chess, according to maggots. And I hate to tell you, not Niall Ferguson, Trump didn't win Davos. He drew gasps from the crowd, rolling eyes, shaking heads, silence, criticism, right? Just open mouths agape, shocked, stunned silence. You think that's winning? You think that's winning? Shitting your pants on stage, it will also garner attention. It will make the wealthy individuals, the powerful, the wealthy, the famous, the self-important, it'll make them stop for a minute and be like, what? If he just got up there and took a shit in his pants and then took out his smaller than average, like Stormy said, mushroom looking whatever the hell. That's the same. That's the equivalent of what we witnessed in Davos. That doesn't mean you won, though. Trashing our NATO allies, ruining America's good name, and then coming back with the same deal, but boasting, the lies, the confusion, the embarrassment. That doesn't mean you dominated. You see, like, to me, it's sane washing him again. He didn't win. We didn't win. That's not a win for America. Scribbling Trump won Davos is absolutely shameless. It's peak shameless Republican gaslighting. They will polish a turd if it's Traitor Trump. If it, you know what I mean? They will ignore every offense against decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. They'll just keep polishing that turd. What is a win? Where's the win? Because the rest of our allies were absolutely appalled? That's a win. They're having meetings without us. They're figuring out how they can move on from the American century once and for all. That's what they're doing. They're making plans to cut us out. That's not a win. Because this is why we have to get maggots into the permanent minority. You see, and all their ilk and their enablers and everyone that thinks that that's a win. Because he was appalling. Because there were a lot of headlines generated. But that's not a win. Republicans have zero self-awareness. That's all it says to me, this kind of headline. So they have zero self-awareness, zero decency, and they have to be voted out and removed from the halls of power before they destroy us permanently, before they permanently tank all our alliances. They tank our economy. They tank our credibility even further. That's the problem. It's not before they can do those things, before they can do them even further, even worse. It shows you what we're dealing with. They think they're winning, right? Oh, drinking the tears of our allies. Trump won Davos, right? That's what he's saying. He triggered them. He's a human troll. Nobody trolls them like Traitor Trump. They think that's what? What is that? That's a president? That's what a president does? You hear it. You see the comments on the conservative sites. Oh, he's trolling them. But that's not winning. That's not winning, you dum-dums, you dummies. That's disgracing us. It's making us smaller. It's hurting us. It's hurting you. It's a win for Putin. It's a win for China. Oh, yeah. It's a win for America's enemies, who they're so lucky. They're so happy and that's when as I was saying, how I share Michael Fanone's rage about people who voted for this. After the election, who celebrated? When America's enemies are celebrating and our allies are appalled, you got to ask yourself, whose side are you on? Maggots, you should be ashamed. But no, they're not. They're not ashamed. Oh boy, I hear the music, guys. That's the end of the show. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see you, Susie. Thank you for being a moderator. Thank you, Redfoot, for being a moderator. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. We need you. We need all the moderators we can get. And we will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Please subscribe to my Substack. There's the code in the corner there. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Stay warm, stay cool, stay awesome. See you soon. All right, so Tuesday. Let me see. I don't know why I can't see I got to do something about the chat. I know we have more people on Discord now, not Discord, on Twitch, but the Twitch chat isn't coming up for some reason for me, so please forgive me if I was ignoring you. I don't know what's happening. It didn't come up. But, okay, this Tuesday, on Tarabuster Tuesday, John Fugelsang is coming on the show. So he's going to call in around 10 after 2, and he's going to be with me for the whole hour. So that's going to be good. That'll be good. It's going to be a good one. I love him. I love him. And if you haven't read The Separation of Church and Hate, do it now. It's such a great book, and it's so pertinent. Pertinent. Why can't I talk? Pertinent, right? Not pertinent. Pertinent. I have 2 YouTube chats going? Where? What do you mean? Is something happening? What is happening? I gotta figure something out. Who said that? Why do I have 2 chats? I have 2 chats? How? That's not possible. That is not possible. Oh. Something weird is happening. That is weird. I do have 2 links going. I don't know. I have 2 chats going. So strange. What is happening? What? Holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? There's 2 streams of this show going at the same time. Oh my motherfucking God. I don't know what's happening. Okay, well, that's weird. It's like split into 2. So we have people on one chat and people on another chat. There's 2 streams happening. Shit. All right. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. That's so strange. It's so weird. I could show you what I'm looking at. Let me see. We'll turn this over here. Let me see. Hold on. Beep-bop-boo-doo-beep-bo. Why can't I do that? I'm trying to show you my screen. It's not happening. What's going on? Such weirdness. Well, thank you for telling me. That is so bizarre. Turn that off. Turn that off. Let's try this. Turn that on. Oh, okay. That is... Yeah. Beep bop boo. Pull this like this. Oh, that. You see? Look at that. Isn't that weird? There's 2 shows going at the same time. 2 streams. And I don't know why. All right. Well, anyway, another mystery for the ages. I hope that doesn't happen again. That's so fucked up. Maybe I hit something and did that. Because now we have like a bunch of people on one stream and a bunch on the other. It's the same. Well, anyway. Weirdness. Thank you for letting me know. Then there's really no way I can fix it right now. Anyway, I can't merge it. It's just going to have to be like that at this point. I'll figure it out, why it did that. But thank you. Okay, guys. Well, this is the liberal media, you know. We're in this together. And I thank you for your patience. Really? Weird. I'm sorry about that, because then that means like all the people that were chatting on the other chat, I wasn't talking to and seeing. But all right. Well, we'll figure it out. I like Poppy was saying that last week, I need to get some chat thing that puts all the chats together and we get it on the screen like Hal does on his show. So, all right, lovies. Lovies, lovies. Stay warm. I have to go out tomorrow and fix the community cat shelters. Make sure everybody's up to par for the Arctic freeze. So, if you remember the poor animals. All right, guys, be kind to animals. I told you it's going to be on my headstone or whatever it is when I die. It's in my will that on my epitaph, it's going to say, this is what it's going to say. Feel free to use it yourself. It's literally in my will. It will say, death is a debt to nature due. I have paid it, and so will you. And under that, be kind to animals. I like that. I like that. All right. Thank you for hanging out. Exactly. Be kind to animals. Listen. Be cool, be warm, and all that stuff. And remember, Tuesday's going to be cool, because we got John Fugelsang. And yeah, so subscribe to my Substack if you do, because you can send me messages and shit too if you like. We have a subscriber chat. You can chat on there. You can post things. Contact me. We also have a Discord page. You can contact me there as well if you feel like reaching out, sending me articles. I have people who watch the show that send articles. They like, and it helps me. They say, I hope I'm not annoying you and things. They'll say that, but it doesn't annoy me because I'm trying to keep up with everything. It's hard to do. So, because we're on a skeleton crew. And yeah. And if you can, support the Patreon and or support the Substack financially. That helps. One day I'd like to be able to do the show every single day. And I can't do it until we get enough subscribers and all that. That would be nice, though. Maybe when, I'm like Mike Malloy. I don't plan on, this is my retirement. I'm not retired, of course. I'm not to that age yet, but I'm getting there. And Mike is still doing his show. I feel I'll be the same, as I love Mike. He's amazing. He's my hero. I got to get him on the show, come to think of it. It's been a while. All right. Listen, thank you for hanging out. All right, I got to go. My name is Tara Devlin. Check out Charlie's APS Radio and APS Radio News. Listen to classic rock and oldies all day. And then the classical channel. He's also got APS Radio News that has independent media voices like myself and others. Cindy Sheehan is on there. She does a commentary show. And yeah. Listen, thank you for hanging out. We will win. We're on the right side of history. I want you all to be safe and stay safe because we need everybody. And when we get to the other side of this, we're going to have a fucking massive party. So everybody stay cool, stay safe. And that great getting up morning, oh boy, that's going to be good. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And thank you, oh my God, 1863 Sylvia for your super chat. I missed it. I hope there aren't any super chats on the other side. I missed. If I did, please, I'm so sorry. Thank you for your support. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you very soon. Ah, damn it. That's the wrong thing. That's the Tarabuster Tuesday. Here we go.